So how do you play the World Cup in FC25? It's one of them things that when the World Cup or the Euros are not on, or if FC25 don't have the license for it, you might not get it every single time. But you can technically make your own, and it will depend on how scuffed you want to make it. So I'll show you how you would normally do it, because if you go into here, you'll be able to see you've got the Women's International, as they do have quite a few of the teams. When it comes to the men's, we don't have Brazil, so I've done a video on how you'd actually get Brazil. But if you go in the domestic, you'll see then like the men's cups, it will predominantly be domestic league rather than necessarily any of the big ones. So you won't really see the World Cup in here. So you can't actually do it from the actual kind of World Cup perspective. You have got the Copa America over here, which is pretty cool. But if you're trying to find an actual Euros or World Cup, they don't have it as an actual trophy. They'll have it in the career mode, but if you wanted to make your own, then obviously you've got to get a bit more creative with it. So what I would do normally is create a custom tournament. You then obviously go for what you want. You can go group and knockouts, and then depending on how big of a World Cup you want to go for instance, if we want to go for the full 32, you can then change all your teams by clicking replace team, and then we can go over to the international. Now, like I said with this, you either pick the international teams you want, so you can obviously just replace them all, and unfortunately you have to go all the way through with this, and you can kind of go with what teams are in the World Cup. But like I said, you're not going to have everybody, which is unfortunate. So for instance, Brazil's going to be a big one that you are missing. Now, the only way that you could kind of get around that is by creating a team with them. Now, the reason why it's kind of a bit scuffed is because what you'd have to do is you'd have to transfer the players into it. So there is a way to do this, and you can kind of play the World Cup, but then you'd have to resettle squads if you are looking to do stuff in kickoff, because all of the players would be changed. So for instance, if we go into the edit teams, go into club transfer, say for this time being, I will change Ipswich to be Brazil. So what I would do from here is I would then go and find all of the Brazilian players, so Neymar in the Saudi, if I want to put him in. Then obviously if I want to go and take Casemiro, Marquinhos, Vini, I would then go and transfer them all into Ipswich, take all of the Ipswich players out. So for instance, if I was looking at Man U, or Man City in fact, and I want to take out Ederson, I would then put him in the team that I have chosen. I would then put them all in there, and then what I would do with that is go back into that tournament that I'm currently creating. Do this before you create the tournament, obviously, and then you can obviously go and put them in, and then once I've created that tournament, that is locked in, them teams don't change, and then what I would go and do is reset all the squads in edit teams. So for instance, I'd go reset all squads, that will put everybody back to normal, and then I can go and do the custom tournament that is my World Cup. It is the only way at the moment until we actually get one of the modes. I'm surprised that we haven't, because we had the full Euro license last year. I'm surprised we don't have at least a Euro Cup tournament that we could do, unless they've not paid for it this year, because obviously it only happens once every 4 years for the Euros. That's understandable as well, but that at the minute is the only custom way you can play the World Cup.